Good evening and welcome back to another FPL game week. And I'm just wondering if everybody can hear me because I just actually added the audio input because something happened to my stuff and I'm not quite sure what it was. So can you just let me know if you can hear me? Good evening, Rob Taff. How are you doing? And welcome back. And you can see I've been working on a brand new overlay, which I quite like, but it does need a little bit of work, I think, and we will get there eventually. But it's good news that you can hear me, Rob Taff. I'm looking at this, and I knew that game week 2 was going to be, the team that I selected, game week 2 was going to be the toughest week in terms of fixtures, and I'm just looking at my team, and I'm thinking to myself, do I need to make some changes here? And I'm like, there's lots of things I could do. Saka, for example, is my captain against Leeds at home. And oh boy, do I want to go with Saka after Leeds performance last week? But I've got to remember that Leeds were playing Everton, and Everton didn't look that great to me, to be honest. And you know me, I don't go on stats and stuff. I just tend to look at fixtures, and I tend to look at how they played on the pitch. And Leeds certainly know how to press teams, and will Arsenal deal with that press better than Everton did? Hard to say. So at the moment, I've got Saka as captain, but news coming in. Hey, Spike, good to see you. News coming in is that Gyökeres is probably going to be the penalty taker, and Arteta did drop in one of his Q&As that when asked who was his best penalty taker, he did say Gyökeres. So how much of that actually is that he's going to actually going to take penalties? I don't know. So I could put Gyökeres as captain against Leeds. I'm really hoping that Leeds collapse. Sorry, guys, if you're a Leeds fan, but I'm really hoping that Leeds collapse and Arsenal get a bag full. These are not good fixtures for any of my players. But the main thing is, I've got Sarr on the bench now. Nottingham Forest at home. Forest, good defence, but are they good enough? Because Palace really gave Chelsea a game last week, and Sarr and Eze looked particularly sharp. Will Eze play in view of the fact he might be going to Arsenal now and not Spurs? Will he play? Who knows? I know, Spike, you seriously do. Rob Tuff, is it Everton's first home game? I believe that it is, yeah. So I think that, let's just check the fixtures. I think they are at home, Everton. Yeah, they're at home to Brighton. It is, and I've got Verbruggen in goal rather than Sanchez because I don't actually trust Chelsea to do that well against West Ham. Even though West Ham looked absolutely awful, I'm not sure that they're against Chelsea. They're going to underestimate Chelsea. I think they might have underestimated Sunderland. Ampadu, I've read that too. Ampadu might be injured. I'm looking at this now. Do I want to bring Sarr in? Sarr is going to be sitting on my bench, first in line on the bench. But I'm thinking that I've got options here. I can bring in Sarr for Reinders, because Tottenham are going to be a sterner test for Man City. And I don't know. Do I bring in Sarr for Reinders? I don't think Reinders is going to get 10 points again this week. Not against Tottenham, although City are at home. You've got to fancy City to win, but I wouldn't think they're going to win 4-0 again. You never know, though, with City. More likely to be 1-0 or 2-0, or maybe even 2-1. So do I take that risk as Crystal Palace are at home and bring him in for Reindeers? The other thing is, of course, is that I could bring him in for Bowen. Sarr could come in for Bowen. But I know, I know FPL so well that the minute I take Bowen out is the day he gets a hat trick. And I've paid 8 million for Bowen, and he's part of the plan for the first 5 or 6 game weeks. So shouldn't I therefore keep playing Bowen? If we look at Bowen's fixtures, I mean, these are not difficult fixtures, and he's got every chance of getting something in these fixtures. So even if West Ham are not winning, doesn't mean they're going to be goalless every week. So I brought Bowen in. I can't now bench him just because he didn't do well last week. I'm hoping that Chelsea and West Ham is a good 2-2 draw or a 3-2 win, that there's going to be goals in it. I have a funny feeling, although I'm probably going to be disappointed again tonight. It's the opening Friday night fixture. But we'll see what happens there. Saka, I think I've got to play safe because of my poor performance last week. Moved. If Palace will smash Forest, a good 3-0. I'd take out Williams for Goodmanson. Goodmanson against Arsenal. There's no clean sheet there. Surely to goodness, there's not going to be a clean sheet for Goodmanson. They're going to be having to work hard defensively, so there might be defensive points, defensive contribution points. But I'm looking at who's more likely to get a clean sheet. And Nico Williams is in because traditionally, as we've seen last year, that Forest have a very good defence. Whereas Leeds are a bit of an unknown when it comes to defence, especially against Arsenal. Wan-Bissaka, probably not a good option, given the fixture that he's got. So Mings definitely, and Pedro Porro's in because he could get an attacking return. He might even be playing as part of a back five rather than playing as a wing back. We will have to see how that game pans out, in which case he might get defensive contributions. Probably not enough, but it depends on how Tottenham square up to that game, I guess. So I'm happy with the back three, happy with the goalkeeper. Even though it's Everton's first game at the new stadium, I still think Verbruggen is better option than Sanchez, although that might change in the next hour or so. Maybe no clean sheet. He's very attacking, and I think he'll shy away from that. Yeah, possibly. It'll be Saka versus Goodmanson. Yeah, absolutely, Spike. I don't really have enough faith in the Leeds defence. Yeah, I mean, bless you. I know you have a thing for Leeds. You're a fan of Leeds, but as yet, Everton, they did well. Let's not mince words. They played well against Everton, but are they going to repeat that against Arsenal? And if they do, boy oh boy, then everybody's going to be drafting in Leeds players for next week. I think it's going to be tough for the Leeds defence. As Arsenal are at home, remember as well, it's not an easy place that Leeds are going to. So I think that's a done deal. It's just which one of those two do I make captain? And I've got to go with the easy option, Saka. How many of you guys, I mean, Spike, you were obviously very happy with your performance last week, top of the Old Man Phil League. Teams, Welsh Devils, United in the bottom four, but you have faith. Oh boy, football is a game of opinions, of predictions. I just feel if I bring Sarr in for one of the players that I've highlighted, I'm not taking Watkins out because he's got to have a chance against Brentford. Brentford's defence did not look very good, and Watkins stays, Gyökeres stays. It could be Bowen out for Sarr. Do I trust Bowen enough now? I have to. I mean, I brought him in for his fixtures, and I gotta believe that West Ham are going to put up a better performance than they did last week. Even if defensively they're not very good, and will Chelsea exploit West Ham in the way that Sunderland did? Because Sunderland exploited West Ham by playing wide and sending crosses into the box, whereas Chelsea play very, very narrow when everything is focused up them through the middle. So can Chelsea still exploit that West Ham defence playing up through the middle? Will they change their style of play? Having watched back that Sunderland game and realise we've got to go out wide. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting encounter tonight. But I think I will leave those two in there. So it's Reindeers or Saar. That's the decision I've really got to make now. You've made Mateta captain. I was actually thinking that going against the grain this week might be a good thing. Salah, Newcastle away. Haaland against Tottenham. I'm hoping that both of them blank this week, of course, because I've got neither of them. They've got tougher games, that's for sure. Newcastle's defence will give Salah and the others up front a hard time. I don't think that Liverpool are going to score 4 again this week. So I'm not seeing either Haaland or Salah having a bag full of points again this week. Going differential this week might be a good time to go differential. It might be a good time to maybe have Watkins as captain, or as you said, to have Mateta as captain. I used my transfer moving out Akanji for Saliba. That's good. Yeah, I like that one. Arsenal's fixtures are going to get a lot better. They've got City and Newcastle away. City obviously is the tough one, and Liverpool. But you've got to back Arsenal, because Arsenal's defence is probably the best in the league, and you've got to back their defenders. Akanji. Again, that's Pep Roulette, isn't it? You don't know if he's going to play or not. We don't even know if Reinders is going to play 90 minutes. He might only play 60 minutes this week. As players return to fitness, Pep's going to give them minutes. So if they go 2-0 up, Reinders might not be on the pitch after 60 minutes or even 50 minutes. We just don't know. It's too early in the season to figure out what is actually going on. A lot of people transferred out Wirtz. I think that was... I can't understand why. When Liverpool's attack looked so good. And I remember once a couple of years ago, when Liverpool scored 5 in a game and Salah was not involved. Salah didn't have a return and he was on the pitch for 90 minutes. And nobody panicked and started transferring Salah out at that point. I'm struggling to understand why people have transferred Wirtz out. I think he's going to be a very, very good FPL asset. And nearly 1 million people, I believe, have transferred him out. And hopefully he'll bag a few points for this game week. So I think, I've got 3 newbies to the Premier League, Wirtz and Reinders and Gyökeres. But I'm trying to be a little bit different this year by going with the template. It hasn't done me any good in previous years, and I'm just trying to be a little bit different. Watkins could become captain before the end of this session. Brentford's defence looked very, very shaky. Very, very shaky. I don't think it does it, Rob Tuff? I don't think vice captain. I didn't get any extra points for my vice captain last week. In which case, if you did, that would be really cool, because then you could, then you'd have some thinking to do. It's actually a very good idea, Rob. It's really a good idea. That would get people thinking. So I think overall I'm fairly happy with this. The only thing I'm not happy about is having Sarr on the bench against Forest. And I think we'll probably go. I have to go, because I only got 59 last time out. I have to go with the easy pick for captain, and I think I have to go for Saka. If anybody's going to open up the Leeds defence, it's going to be Saka. So I got to go with Saka. Maybe a mistake, but even if Watkins gets returns, then we're still going to get the returns. It's just not going to double it. And I really have picked, like, without Haaland and Salah, I've got 7 attacking players here, well-known attacking players, who should be scoring goals, who should be making goals, creating goals. And just because they blanked last week, I shouldn't be in panic mode. And if one of them doesn't play, I've got another attacker on the bench. So I've got 8 good attacking players who should compensate for not having Haaland and Salah. And hopefully it will pan out that way. Being different isn't easy. I don't think it does, Rob. I don't think I got any extra points for my vice captain last week. So we'd have to check that one out in the rules, but I don't think it does. Frimpong being out is quite interesting with the Liverpool-Newcastle game. Not from an attacking point of view, from more of a defensive point of view, because I do believe Bradley is doubtful. So who are they going to bring in? They're going to have to bring in a more defensive player on the right-hand side there. And I think that Newcastle might find it, therefore, a little bit harder to score against Liverpool, because they won't be so open. And with Gravenberch coming back as well, I believe. The Force, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Nice to see you. It's a difficult course, Shalozibal. Really, Spike? That would be interesting, because Gomez, of course, is not fully fit either. So they would have a problem at right back. They need to get Conor Bradley fit and healthy as soon as possible, because Frimpong's expected to be out until after the international break, but there's also a school of thought that it might go further than that, because even when the injury's okay, they got to get him back to fitness. Not going to rush him back into the team because they don't want him injured again. So it might go even to game week 6 or 7 before he's fully established back. 59 is not good. The Force, it was a dreadful week. I like every one of my midfielders, 8 of them, 8 attacking midfielders and forwards, all of them blanked apart from Reindeers. It was a really bad week. So hopefully this week they're not all going to blank, and 3 or 4 of them are going to get returns, and we're going to have a much better week. So not too happy with 59. But my bench boost, I do believe I played my bench boost at the right time, because that got me 17 points. So, and normally I'm used to getting 8 points on the bench boost. So now I can start building a team and forget about the bench. I don't want to worry about the bench. I really only want 1 player on the bench, so I can start removing players from the bench now and just invest the money somewhere else. So we build up transfers, take people off the bench. I switched Alt Nuri, Gimares, and Caicedo out and took in Achipong, Reinders, and Eze. Kenny, that's kind of like and there's me thinking that should I be putting Reinders on the bench now? I like the way he played against Wolves. Against Tottenham, is he going to have the same license to be going forward like that? I know Pep wasn't happy. If you saw what Pep said after the game, when asked how he felt that City had played, he said in the first half we were good in transition, but we need to improve, and we improved when Cherki came on. So he wasn't like full of praise for Reindeers or any of the Manchester City team. And whether that's just Pep being Pep, but he did mention that the team played a lot better once Cherki came on. So I'm thinking, is he secure in the team? I can understand bringing in Caicedo. Eze is, for me, a little bit dodgy, and I would avoid Eze. I don't even know if he's going to play this week because he's linked now with Arsenal, and the word is that it might even go ahead as early as next week. So I don't know if Eze will actually start this week. So for me, bringing in Eze, no matter how good a player he is, he's a bit risky at the moment. And then, of course, if he goes to Arsenal next week, he's got competition in that number 10 role from Odegaard. So is he going to play every game? Probably not. Is he going to take time to settle into that Arsenal team? Probably. So is he... I don't know. You tell me, is he a good transfer in Eze? I certainly wouldn't be thinking about doing it. I'd be looking to get rid of players who are linked with transfers at this point in time. Call me old-fashioned, but the way managers react to transfer stuff, they just tend to say nobody's that important that we can't leave them out. Is that transfers or substitution? Anything better than average? Yeah, the force. Am I dreadfully unhappy? I'm only dreadfully unhappy about my score last week because 7 players who I think are good FPL picks just totally blanked, and that's what's making me unhappy a little, and also a little bit nervous. Are they going to repeat that performance again this week? And then I'm really going to be upset if they do. So 59 is not a bad start. Now, I normally start around about the 60 mark, 60 to 65, so it's pretty much par for the course for me. I think half the problem is that I watch the games, and if I watch a football match, if I watch Manchester United, my team, Manchester United lose. If I don't watch the game, they win. That's the way football tends to be for me. And if I watch the West Ham Chelsea game, as I will later, they'll both blank. But if I actually just went out for a walk instead, I'd come back and find they've got a brace apiece. That's the way it goes for me. I think because I wish too hard, my wishes don't come true. I don't know. I do have very interesting theories about me and watching football, but we'll see how it goes. I don't discount wildcarding early. If these 7 players are going to continue to let me down, then I may have to. I'm looking at players. Semenyo. We have to just monitor Semenyo. It's knee-jerk reaction just to bring him in because he scored 2 against Liverpool. Who could have called that? Semenyo getting a brace in the opening game at Anfield. So as his fixtures are a lot better in the coming weeks, we just got to keep an eye on him. I'm also keeping an eye on Strike from Leeds. Spike will be happy. He could well be an asset in FPL this year, Strike. If Leeds continue to play well and he's involved, he's going to be involved in the goal stuff. So he might well, for his price, and what's he, 5.5 or 5? I can't remember what his price is now. He could well be an asset. So I'm obviously watching players. Alt Nuri is another one. And we just have to see how Pep does what he does with him now that Gvardiol is getting a little bit fitter, I believe, and may even be fit enough to start this weekend. What is Pep going to do with these players? So rather than bring Alt Nuri in, because I think he's a good attacking defender, let's have a look at how regularly he plays first. Before we make any decisions on that. Pedro Porro, we know, is going to play 90 minutes every week. We know that. Mings exactly the same, and Nico Williams probably exactly the same. It's about pick players that you know are going to play lots of minutes. Gyökeres now probably will be playing much more minutes because of Havertz's injury, and they still have Jesus is still injured as well. So they really only have Moreno to cover for Gyökeres. And as he might be on penalties as well, I've got to keep faith with him. Where are we here in the chat? Eze did not play the game yesterday. He probably start. Yeah, I mean, I think that Eze, I think that's a gamble, but I hope it goes well. Today I'm either happy about West Ham winning or Palmer scored a hat-trick. I need Palmer to get some returns to restore my faith in him. I don't like him playing at number 10. For me, he's better wide on the right. He's much more dangerous where he can run at defenders. He scares defenders when he plays out wide. They just crowd him out when he plays through the middle. So I'd prefer to see Palmer out wide. And Palmer might be one of the first for the bin. when push comes to the shove. I don't think he's going to get the returns that he gets when he plays out wide, playing as the number 10. He might be one of the first to go. I just hope it's an open game and there's tons of goals, and these boys then hopefully will be involved. That's kind of what I'm hoping for that game tonight. So we have a great corner threat, Bichol and Strike. Absolutely, I'm keeping a keen eye on Strike, and he's one that I would suggest everybody looks at. Don't bring him in yet. Just monitor him over the next couple of weeks. Leeds, I think, will score goals, and he will be involved. If they do score goals, he will be involved, I think. And, I definitely think he's worth keeping an eye on. Pedro hat-trick. Oh, blimey. João Pedro, for me, like the rest of the Chelsea team, didn't play well last week. They looked horrid up front. And I think that's because Palace defended deep with numbers and then just crowded everybody out. Whether West Ham can do the same, probably not. And so maybe Palmer will be involved in goals, and maybe João Pedro will get goals as well. Gvardiol go to left centre back. Yeah, I believe that's what will happen myself, Spike. But there will be times, once European football starts, there will be times when, you know what Pep is like, he will rotate the two as the left back. He's got strength in depth at the back once they're all fit. So I think Pep's rotation, I guess we have to wait and see. I can't play someone that I'm not sure is going to start. This is why, there are so many players that could be in that team that just aren't, because I've no idea if they're going to start or not. Reinders, I don't know. He might start. I'm hoping he does. He's a very, very good player. And on the strength of what he did last week, I think he will. But I still don't think he's going to get the returns that I'm hoping for again this week. There's going to be a lot of disappointed people, I think, who brought him in on the basis of that 10 points. So I'm wondering, do I replace him with Sarr? And that is like, it's so in my head at the moment. Porro or Ronaldo against Burnley? Oh, that is a tough choice. If you're absolutely convinced, I would say, that Burnley are not going to score, then you go for Reinildo. That is a really tough one. I think I'd probably go for the Sunderland player rather than Porro. What you're doing with Porro is relying on attacking returns, and that's what I'm doing, is that hoping that he can give us an attacking return. There's no clean sheet here. I'll be very, very surprised if Tottenham keep Man City from scoring. There's no clean sheet there. He's in the team basically just in the hope that there might be attacking returns. Really, in my head, I've got him as a one-pointer. He's just sitting there, hopeful. So in my head, when I calculate how many points am I likely to get, he's a one-pointer. Is that what you think, Rob? Tired legs from Chelsea? I don't know. This shouldn't be. I mean, I guess it was only 3 weeks ago. They just didn't look right, and I think they didn't look right because Palmer's role, he's stifled in there as the number 10, and that's what I think the problem is. That if you release Palmer out wide, you can play Enzo in here. Enzo's very, very good playing with his back to defenders. Play him in there, put Palmer out wide, and then let Palmer have more space. Let him roam about, and FM roam from position. I think he'd be much more effective out there. I don't like him playing as the number 10. And I think that because he's playing as the number 10, if you watched the Palace game, he's always got his back to the defence, and they had 3 players, 1 in front and 2 behind him. He was totally lacking space. There's no space for him to work in at all. He did have 1 run at the defence. He had to keep coming deeper, and he did run at the defence on 1 occasion that I saw. I might have fallen asleep if there were any more. But he just, I don't know, he's not right. He could be the first one who goes. It's 10.5 million. That's a lot of money that I can distribute elsewhere. And if Semenyo takes off, then Semenyo coming in here frees up a ton of money that could go somewhere else. So I don't know. I've got lots of decisions to make over the next few weeks. Yeah. Ballard. Why are people bringing Ballard in? I don't understand this. Are they actually telling me that Sunderland are going to get bags of clean sheets? I'm not quite sure why people react in the way that they did. Yeah, he was the top scorer in FPL last week, 17 points. But you can't tell me that Sunderland are going to get a clean sheet week after week after week. I don't get it why people react in that way. I made a transfer this week. I had to basically. I need a Villa defender, and the reason I need a Villa defender is look at their fixtures. So I need one just to sit in there. And hopefully Mings won't get injured or sent off. I had Konsa. And the idea was he would just sit there. All the other defenders would rotate around him. But Konsa, the Aston Villa one, would just sit there. So I needed to replace Konsa because I need that Aston Villa defender. I thought a straight red card meant that you got banned for three matches. I don't think he has been banned for 3 matches. I think he's only banned for one. So I'm not quite sure whether the FA will decide to add two more to it in the days to come. But I couldn't take that risk. And this week, I'd have had to put Wan-Bissaka or Goodmanson in there with Pedro Porro, and my defence is looking a bit thin then. So I did make the transfer, made it early. I was concerned that people would transfer him out, his value would fall. So I wanted to get another 4.5 in from Aston Villa before there was a difference in values. So that was done. I'm happy to have Mings in there for defensive contributions as well as possible clean sheets. So I think he'll be okay. Who do you think will win the league? I can predict who will be the top three. Arsenal, Manchester City and Liverpool. Choosing who will win the league out of the three of them is hard. And I might actually even go Manchester City, unfortunately. I think that City have brought in two very, very good midfielders. And people don't realise how good they are yet. And I think Manchester City want their title back and they're going to go for it. Liverpool's defence looks a bit dodgy early on. I would go for City to win the title. Even though I'm a United fan, I think it's City probably for me. Yeah, and I hope I'm wrong. But I think probably City. Palmer is the type you need to play. Yeah, I think on the right, Rob, he's much more effective on the right. What do you... mine was Akanji and Saliba. Yeah, you're taking a chance with Saliba, but you're backing in the right way because Arsenal have got the best defence in the league. And who's to say that when they play Liverpool and City, they won't get clean sheets? They could well do. And also, he's not going to get as many defensive contributions, perhaps, as Gabriel. And Gabriel is a better attacking threat. But, hey, Saliba is just put there and let him stay there. You don't have to think about subbing him out from week to week. He just is in your team. So a good call for me. Even though the fixtures aren't that bad. I think absolutely. I just do think that City or Shitty are absolutely better, the best of the three. Yeah, James, I'm kind of with you on that. I hope that Bowen gets on some sort of return. Again, I'm just hoping an open game and they both get returns. I have no wish either way in terms of supporting the teams. So for me, a 2-2 draw or a 3-3 draw with both of them being involved in getting returns would be perfect. And fuming over the goalkeeper, need a better goalkeeper. I think United need a better lots of places. I don't think that that Belieber should be coming in. I don't think he's worth that money. Although I would like to see a defensive midfielder. I'd love to see a good box-to-box come into United. In like Reinders, who can go box-to-box. And I'm pretty sure if they'd done that with McTominay would have made a good box-to-box midfielder. But they wanted him to play too deep, and McTominay had an attacking side to his game. I'd like to see a good box-to-box midfielder in there. And a goalkeeper, yes. And probably a good right wing back. I'm happy with Dorgu, but I'd like to see a good right wing back coming in. I'm not too happy with Dallo or Ahmad. Playing in that right wing back role. So yeah, United could do with a lot of players still. Yeah. Semenyo, James. Semenyo is high on my radar. If you look at Bournemouth's fixtures, Semenyo is high now on my radar. And if he actually plays well again this week, he could be coming in for Palmer next week. If Palmer blanks again, playing at number 10, then Semenyo could come in, because Bournemouth's fixtures for the next 5 or 6 game weeks are fabulous. They just had that difficult start against Liverpool, so could well be coming in. Looks like Lamens is happening. A kind of wait and see situation with United. I've been here before with United, that this is happening, that's happening. I always like to wait and see with United. It not always actually comes to fruition. Thank God I transferred Wirtz to Gakpo and got Muniz. Yeah, I remember you saying that last week. And you asked me, should you do it? And I think I just said, look, it's your team. You go with what your gut instinct said. And I'm glad you did that and went with what your gut instinct was telling you to do. Because at the end of the day, if I say to you, like, no, don't do it, and then what you were thinking actually would have paid off, I'd feel terrible. But I said at the time that was a good move, but you always have to remember why you originally put the other players in the first place. And I have to keep remembering that myself, the force, because those players are on that screen because I put them there, and I put them there for a reason. Just because they blank doesn't mean the reason's gone. It doesn't for all of them. And Mbuemo and Cunha are going to smash it. You know, Rob, Fulham, that last season, the Fulhams, the Crystal Palace, the Brentfords, those were the games that United lost. They really played well, I think, against the top teams, United. In fact, I think they beat City last year, didn't they? A late goal by Ahmad beat City last year. And against the big teams, United always seem to turn up. It means something. But then they'll go and beat City, and then they go away to Crystal Palace or Fulham and lose 3-0. And Fulham is the kind of game that worries me from a United perspective. I'm hoping they're not going to continue that fine tradition this year. I'm hoping that it's going to work out a little bit better. We'll just have to wait and see on that one. Yeah, Spike, I can understand why. I'm thinking of playing Sarr instead of Reinders. I know that so many people have brought him in. I think they've brought him in a panic. And I don't think he's going to be getting a goal and assist against Tottenham. But then would you actually take him out on the back of that performance last week? Probably not a good idea. I also could take out Bowen and put Sarr in. I need to give Bowen another chance. At least another couple of chances before he's going to go. It's like their board has given up. Yeah, possibly. Absolutely, Spike. I mean, he's not going to... Against Tottenham, Wolves is one thing. Tottenham are not going to allow him to do the same. He might. He's a good player, and he might. But the chances of lightning striking twice in the same place. And I thought Sarr looked very dangerous against Chelsea. What worries me about Sarr is his finishing is very sloppy. But he gets into spaces that he could easily score. And so Nottingham Forest at home. We know Forest's defence is good, but is it that good? And can Crystal Palace score against them? I'm going to back against Crystal Palace, I think, and go with Reinders. This is like a really FPL is a tough game to play because you have to make these decisions week in, week out, and naturally you get them wrong. These decisions wrong sometimes. It is a test, Rob, for Amarin. It's a big test. And I think if they play with the same passion that they played in the opening game against Arsenal, and they treat Fulham and Grimsby and Burnley in the same way as they treated Arsenal, they might come through it. They might pass the test. But if they don't take these teams seriously, as they weren't last season, then they're going to struggle again. I'm hoping that they do. I'm hoping to see United players in my midfield at some point later in the season. I'm really hoping that happens. Of course, being a United fan, I'd love to see a couple of United midfielders in there. But I just don't trust them at the moment, I'm afraid. Munier's double goal versus Man United. Yeah, in the long run, Fulham. Yeah, I'm absolutely with you, James. As a Man United fan, I am extremely concerned about Fulham. It's the kind of game they lost last year. I can remember so many of them where they played well against a team in the top half and then just didn't turn up the next week. And I'm hoping they're not going to repeat that. But I'm with you, James. Even as a United fan, I'm very, very worried about Fulham. So you can see the lack of United players in my midfield. Absolutely zero. Talking about Reinders, when you started him in game, did you think he would score and get an assist? No, absolutely not. Reinders, I originally brought in because of his price. I had a feeling he would get some minutes because of Rodri's injury. But for me, after game week 1, he was going to be a bench player. For 5.5 million, I was going to sit him on the bench and he'd probably be first in line on the bench until I got rid of the bench, because now my bench boost is done. I don't need a bench. I just need one who can come on, possibly two who plays regularly, who can just fill in as and when necessary. So he was going to be number 1 on the bench. That's what I was going to do with him. Now I've got a dilemma. He was my top midfielder. So I guess we have to start him and take it from there. And you never know, he might get some more returns this week. You just don't know. He is a good player, and his movement, what I love about him is that he can carry the ball, but is also his direct straight line running off the ball. He doesn't go round in circles or these big curves that all the others seem to do. He just goes in a straight line. And that's what I really like about him. He moves into a space in a straight line. Lovely, opens up space beautifully in front of him. And City are good enough to find him. So that's what I really like about him. So if he continues to do that, I've no doubt he's going to find space against Tottenham, and he might get returns. You never know. He might give Pep a headache. But yeah, originally I brought him in to be first on the bench once my bench boost was played. But now I have to play him. I have to give him another chance. The only thing I have is if Rutter will play again. Why wouldn't he play, Spike? There's no reason why he wouldn't play. What's the alternative is to bring Welbeck in, and then Jorginho could just sit in the number 10. He can play as a number 10. So why wouldn't he play? I think I think he's going to play, quite frankly, at least for a while. You're just posting your team to me, are you? Yeah. I don't know. It's not the start that I wanted, but we've got to look optimistically at what's going on. West Ham, Chelsea. I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing there's going to be goals in there. Guessing that there's going to be goals in this game. Breaking news. I haven't really heard anything. I've got various things open. I'm not getting any early team news. Henderson and Vicario as my two goalkeepers. Should I transfer? Do you need two goalkeepers? Is what I'd say to you. Do you need two goalkeepers? I'm not sure you do need two goalkeepers, unless you want two goalkeepers for your bench boost. You're still going to play a bench boost early. You do think about, when am I going to play my wild card? Am I going to play my bench boost after my wild card or before? If you're going to play it before, then you have to have a place set for it. And then after that, you can get rid of the goalkeeper. Do you need two goalkeepers? Probably not. And even if you want two, a 4.5 and a 1.5, like, goalkeepers is not something I really take very seriously in FPL. Maybe I should, but I don't really look at goalkeepers as being essential in my planning. I mean, I think that once my bench boost is now played, I could go with Verbruggen, sell Sanchez, and I could make $1 million there, which I can reinvest somewhere else. My bench boost is done. I don't need a goalkeeper on the bench. Although, the minute I do that, I'll have a goalkeeper injury and have to transfer a goalkeeper. But risk is risk. I wouldn't have two playing goalkeepers. Not at this stage in the season, because we're all a bit pressed for money at this stage in the season. What is my squad worth? It's just still 100 million. It went up to 100.1, but it's gone down again. I'm guessing somebody's lost some value in here. Not quite sure which one. Might be Bowen. Has Bowen lost any value? Yeah, Bowen's price has gone down to 7.9. So we need to hold on to Bowen for a while. Reinders went up 0.1 and Bowen's gone down 0.1. Concert probably went down 0.1 as well, but I got rid of him. So we're all a bit strapped for cash at the moment, and I'm not sure investing in goalkeepers is the best way to use the money, but if you think you should have two goalkeepers, go with it. You're stuck between Rutter and Reindeers. You have the same problem as me, Spike, as I am stuck between Reindeers and Saar. You have the same problem as me. Why are you concerned about Saka? I think if anybody can open up that Leeds defence, Saka can. And if Saka opens them up, then Gyökeres can find space, then they will score. Arsenal are not the most prolific goal scorers in the Premier League. So probably I've made an error, because probably just one of them is enough. But I couldn't make my mind up between the two of them. And I just think that despite the fixtures, they're going to cause teams problems. And they're going to score goals. Arsenal will score goals. They're just not going to be like City and score 4. And like Liverpool, who score 4. So I may eventually, once my wild card is called in, I might have to fill up with City and Liverpool attackers, and go for cheaper forwards and have City and Liverpool midfielders. When I look at his stats, they were as effective as I was expecting. Usually he's really good to get an assist, and it didn't seem that way. Yeah, I mean, I think you've got, James, you've got to put some of that down to the fact that even I was absolutely shocked at how Manchester United played. I didn't believe it was the same team. You can see my team. I've got 2 Arsenal players in the team, and I had them for last week. And I was so concerned that United would lose heavily last week. But even defensively, United stifled Arsenal. And the only chance they had was that goalkeeping error. That's really all they created. And that it's not because Arsenal can't create opportunities. It's because United really messed them up. So I think United played well, and I think we have to take credit for that. But United could easily have got a draw or even won that game. So give United some credit. What Arsenal did was no different to what they've been doing before. United just made it difficult for them, which shocked me. Yeah, early days, nervous days. I'm just hoping that Wirtz comes off this week, because so many people have just sold him after one game week, which seems to me crazy. So maybe it's his week. Maybe it's Watkins' turn to get some returns. Brentford don't look very good. And you've got to back Arsenal against Leeds. Even the most hardened pundits would still back Arsenal against Leeds. I'm not saying they're going to beat Leeds heavily, but I would back them to score a couple of goals for sure. I'd like it if they beat them heavily, but and then Bowen, I don't know what to do about Bowen. You see, if Bowen doesn't get the ball enough, he's not going to be involved in goal returns. What I am sure of is that no matter how bad West Ham are, they are going to score goals throughout the season. And if West Ham score goals, Bowen will be involved somewhere. And so I just got to keep the faith. Somebody said earlier, keep the faith. It's early days. And yeah, just keep the faith. And hopefully we'll have a better week than we did last week. And even if we don't, I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to suddenly think, right, I've got to get rid of those players. Because the minute I do that, the minute I decide, right, got a wild card because this is not working, all of these players will suddenly turn up. And part of this game is just being patient, picking your team and being patient. And the minute, if I did that, if I wildcarded after another bad performance this week, all of these players would get points in game week 3. So I just got to be patient, let the season fall into place. I'd always plan to wildcard around game week 6 or 7. Even if I'm down in the bottom half of the world rankings, it doesn't matter at that point because there's still an awful lot of game weeks to go, awful lot of chips to be played. So part of this game is not panicking. Just stay in there. Not from Joe and Sandro versus Wirtz. Michaela, absolutely right. We can't make any decisions really on one game week, and the only decision that I made was to bring in Mings for Conser because I need that Aston Villa defender just to be the one that everybody else rotates around. So I had to do that. Conser forced me into that. Without that sending off, Conser would have got 6 points and it would have made my score look a lot better. But he didn't and got sent off, and I had to deal with that. These players I picked, I picked them for a reason. Yeah, 29 minutes. We're getting to the point of no return. My plan always was, when I set the team up, that Saka would be captain in game week 2. I don't want to change that plan, despite the fact that I think Watkins is a good outside bet, that maybe even Palmer will turn up against West Ham, who played poorly. And I'd even back Wirtz away at Newcastle. Saka was my plan for game week 2, so I'm going to stick to the plan, I think. This is the difficult one, Sarr or Reinders. And I'm still, even though it's 30 minutes before the deadline, I still don't know what to do with that. Sarr at home to Nottingham Forest. Crystal Palace gave Chelsea a fright last week. And they won. Let's not forget, they beat Liverpool in the Community Shield. What can they do against a good Nottingham Forest defence? And if he gets a bag full of points this week and Reinders blanks, I am going to be one absolutely disappointed man. You think Sarr instead of Bowen or Reinders? Take Bowen out because West Ham going to threaten Chelsea. Take Bowen out and put Sarr in. That's what my shout would be to swap Bowen, bring in Sarr, and have Bowen on the bench. That's what my shout would be. I really don't want to drop Reinders, because why would you want to drop Reinders after he got a 10-pointer? We know he's going to play at least 70 minutes. So do I want to drop Bowen? He is at home to Chelsea. I would expect West Ham to recover and play a bit better than they did against Sunderland. I would expect them to do better. I am really struggling with this. Really, really struggling with this. My plan was not initially setting the team up to be playing Reinders. My plan was to be playing Sarr, because I didn't really think, that he would get the returns that he did. He's just shocked me. He surprised me how good a player he is. Whether he's going to be allowed that license that he had last week against Tottenham, I don't know. Because it could leave City open at the back. And I think people thought he was going to be a defensive midfielder, and I think that's why his price tag is so low. That he was going to sit deep, do the Rodri type role, and he definitely didn't. So it's, what do I do? I'm with you. I'm with you on Bowen, keeping Bowen in the team. Will Liverpool be good against Newcastle when it's at Newcastle Stadium? I think that Liverpool attack is hard for anyone to contain. I don't think Liverpool are as solid at the back as they used to be. And I think until Kirkes and Frimpong learn the system that Slot wants them to play, for me they are just way too high up the pitch. And I don't know if Slot's decided to go all out attacking. He knows he's got a good front four. So I don't know whether he's decided, right, let's go and attack. I don't know if that's what he's decided, but they didn't look very good defensively. Newcastle could exploit them out wide. If they play the same way, then Newcastle could exploit them out wide. Whether or not Liverpool will play the same way, I don't know. But what we do know about Liverpool is they have a great attack. That front four is scary to play against. And it's the pace that they move the ball that is scary. And I just think that although Newcastle are up at the moment because they're trying to prove that they can still be a good team without Isak, of course they are up. I think their attacking threat is limited. And without that attacking threat, I don't think that they're going to get anything out of the Liverpool game. And I don't think it's going to be a hammering. I think the Newcastle defence is good, but not good enough to stifle them, I don't think. And without a striker, then I don't think Newcastle are going places. They need to sort this Isak thing out very, very quickly. I don't know how you would integrate him back into the squad if he isn't sold. I don't know how you would do that. You'd have to be a very, very good manager to handle that. So, difficult one. Liverpool losing Frimpong is a blow to Liverpool. He provides the width. Both of these attacking wing backs they have. I've got to back Liverpool. I still think that they are good enough up front. I'm not sure that Ekitike is as good as people are saying he is, and I'm pretty sure that he's not going to be doing what he did against Newcastle. He's not going to be allowed to do it. Newcastle's defence will be a lot better than Bournemouth. And he might find it's a different game. As a youngster, he might find it's a different game against Newcastle, much more physical game, and he might not like that. But I still got to fancy Liverpool to open them up. And with Salah, Wirtz, Gakpo, and Ekitike playing up there, you got to fancy they will score goals. Maybe not a huge amount of goals, but certainly one or two. I think I can't see Newcastle getting anything out of that. I think down the flanks they could still have a threat, and I think I said in my stream yesterday that I wish they would play Jacob Murphy because in pre-season he looked very, very sharp. And he looked the most dangerous player up front that Newcastle had. And I know they bought Elanga, but I mean, is Elanga a proven Premier League winger? I know he's got bags of pace, but is he a proven Premier League winger? I'm not sure yet that he is. And I think Jacob Murphy deserves to be in that team. I thought that Elanga would probably be better playing on the left wing rather than the right. But I think Murphy deserves a chance. And out wide is where Newcastle could win that game if they're going to win it. But they've got to get bodies into the box. They have to have their two midfielders, who are good players, Tonali and Guimaraes, getting into the box. Without that, there's no forward threat there. Gordon is not centre forward. He's a winger. So, how many minutes to go now? 20 minutes to go. 20 minutes thinking time. You guys, do you have any issues? Do you have any issues that are like causing you mega concerns like I have? Or are you guys like so happy with your teams that nothing really? Yeah, I had him in and out of my team pre-season, Rob, so many times. for his price, and he does score goals. Guimaraes gets more goals than Tonali. So I was playing with both of those in and out of my team all pre-season. The Isak thing was a problem for me, and I didn't know how Newcastle were going to react to that. So there are no Newcastle players in my team because they looked okay defensively last week, but they didn't have any attacking threat. That was the problem. And how long will that be before the defense starts going downhill as well? But yeah, they do have very good midfielders. Tonali, Guimaraes, even Joe Linton. That midfield three is a very good midfield. But yeah, converting it into points now will be the thing. I don't... What about players that you guys think? Have you got players who you are watching? I've told you I'm watching that guy Strike from Leeds. And I'm watching Semenyo of Bournemouth. Especially him because the fixtures for Bournemouth are getting very, very good. Do you have somebody that perhaps I'm missing that you are looking at? Just a player you might be not in your team but keeping an eye on. With European qualification, I thought Newcastle would have gotten stronger. Yeah, it is. And I don't know why Newcastle are stuck with the financial fair play rules. I don't know why they are stuck. And other teams are able to go out spending tons of money, but Newcastle seem to be stuck, like they're not allowed to, and I'm not quite sure why. Is it because you have to sell players in order to bring players in? This is the only thing I can think of. And I know Newcastle have sold 2, have they? But they're not prolific at releasing players, and that might be the problem. But everybody else is quite happily bringing lots of players in, and it's been a fascinating transfer window. But Newcastle seem to be stuck in that department. I don't think they're short of a bob or two. So I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is with Newcastle. Despite, why don't they just like Isak, throw him under the bus and go out and buy a striker? What is holding them back? They must have money. Why would they have to rely on Isak leaving before they can spend some money? When they have sold 2 players, I believe. They've brought in 2, is it? Is it 2 or 1 that they've brought in? But their team looks pretty much unchanged to me. So I don't know what the issue is with Newcastle. They just don't seem to be allowed to buy anybody. Whereas all the other teams can happily go and spend as much money as they like by the look of it. It's interesting. I mean, Manchester City and Liverpool have both released a ton of players. Liverpool especially. There's not much on the bench for Liverpool now. So they've let go a ton of players. So maybe that's why they can spend money. City, I think, also have released lots of players. So maybe that's why they can bring players in. United have brought players in hoping that they're going to sell players, and maybe they're going to get stuck by financial fair play. If they don't sell some players soon, maybe they're going to get done by it. I don't understand how the financial fair play works properly. I've never gone into it on FM too much. I know you get these reports about the financial fair play situation, but I just totally ignore them. Maybe I should pay more attention to the FFP reports in FM. I might learn a bit about it. They do keep getting rejected. I think it's 8 forwards they lost out on. Yeah, interesting. They have been trying to buy a forward. And I can't understand why Sesko went to Manchester United, to be honest. It didn't make any sense to me that. Why would he choose Manchester United over Newcastle? I don't know why he chose. Maybe he supported United as a small boy and just wanted to go there. Maybe he didn't feel he's ready for Champions League football at the moment. Bigger club, Kenny, could be. Hey, Dylan, would I start Dorgu or Anderson? Anderson for sure. As a Manchester United fan, Dylan, I'm very, very concerned, as I've been talking about earlier, that Fulham away is the type of game that Manchester United traditionally lose. And Dorgu at home probably would be a better bet, but I would worry that United are not going to be the team they were last week. And if you're asking me what I would do, I would put Anderson, not Dorgu. And as a Manchester United fan, that hurts me to say. Firstly, Fulham are at home. And secondly, as I said, this is the kind of fixture that United would regularly lose last year. I don't know on the basis of one game, and United played well, but I don't know if they are a different team, if their attitude is different to the Fulhams and Brentfords and Crystal Palaces. And this is what is unknown yet. If United go there and thrash Fulham, then I'll take my words back. But I don't see it yet. And I think that Fulham will fancy their chances. And it's not an easy call, but I definitely would go with Anderson. But don't let me talk you out of Dorgu. But it's just what I would do. Fulham missing Robinson. Yeah, absolutely. You think so, Spike? I just am not convinced by United after watching them against Arsenal. I thought they played really well, but I thought the chances that they created were half chances. They weren't really good chances. Like Mbuemo and Cunha especially shooting from outside the box, these little grass cutters that they were shooting from 25 yards. They were half chances they created. Not really good chances. I felt United should have had a penalty. Clear-cut penalty. So, and Dorgu has always impressed me since he came to the club. I think he will be a good left wing back. I just don't think it's time to play Manchester United players until we've seen a game or three. Until we see if they're a changed team. If their attitude is different when they go away to the likes of Fulham, when they play Grimsby, when they play Burnley. Only then will we know. And only then, if they are, when I wildcard, I'm hoping to see a couple of Man United players in my team. Really hoping that they prove that they are a changed team. But at the moment, I would go Anderson rather than Dorgu. I think. Time to believe again. You think so, Rob? Kenny, when Isak leaves. Do you see Isak leaving, Kenny? That's the other. Hey, Aaron, how you doing? Would you rather watch a tree grow or a knee grow? A tree grow, probably. Strange question, but thank you for taking part, Aaron. Where are we here? It's a World Cup season, so Luke Shaw is fit again. Absolutely, yeah. Noticed that. I wish I was with you on that, Rob. I wish I was with you. I want to give it 3 or 4 games before I start believing. I know what Man United fans are like. They go and have a good result one week, and the world is rosy and everything's fine, and all the players are rating 8.2 and 7.5, and blah, blah, blah is a great player. And next week they go and lose at Brentford and everybody's shocking, everybody's rubbish, the whole thing falls apart. And I think what I want to do is take a little bit more of a pragmatic view and just say, let's wait and see. I thought they played well and I thought they deserved to draw, should have had a penalty, but that was against Arsenal. And United always play well against big teams. They beat Man City last year. They played well against Liverpool last year. They played well against the Arsenals, the Chelseas. But when it comes to the smaller teams, the Fulhams, the Palaces, the Brightons, it's safe now. Those kind of teams, they don't do very well. And that's why I've got no United player in my team as yet. Should you captain Salah, Watkins or Semenyo? Semenyo would be a knee-jerk reaction to him getting a brace of goals last week. You've got to ask yourself, is he going to get a brace again this week? If the answer to that is I'm confident he's going to get returns again this week, then go for it. Watkins, Brentford's defence was poor, in my opinion. They were poor. And so Aston Villa's midfield was dreadful, though. Their passing forward from midfield was absolutely the worst passing I've seen in a long time. So hopefully they will have sorted that out, because I've got Watkins. And their passing might be a little bit better. But it was awful. So you got to weigh up, are Aston Villa better than what we saw last week? I think they are. Rodgers was very poor last week, as well as Tielemans, both shocking at passing the ball. So for Watkins to function, he needs to get the ball. I think I'm backing Watkins because he's better. Aston Villa are better than what they showed us. Brentford have got a poor defence, so I'd back Watkins. But you've really got to go, I think, with Salah. Absolutely got to go with Salah. Newcastle away is a tough game. I'm not going to captain Watkins. I'm not going to captain Gyökeres, even if he is on penalties. I've got to go with Saka, the safe bet this week. And I think Salah would be your safe bet. Although you've got a couple of minutes to decide whether Watkins or Semenyo. Personally, I would captain Salah. If I had that choice, I would captain Salah. But I'm not you. And you've probably got more points than me after game week 1. So I think it's smart for United to have a lot of potential. We must be wary. Absolutely, Dylan. Absolutely. I was impressed. I'm not going to say I wasn't impressed. Start Sesko or Richarlison. Phew, that's a tricky one. United, I think, have the better fixture. Tottenham's attacking threat against Manchester City, I'd have to say, go with, for that one, I would go with Sesko. I really don't see Tottenham really causing Manchester City too many problems. Is Malacia in any way? I very much doubt it, Rob. Yeah, but don't let me pick your team for you. If it was me, I'd go for Sesko. Richarlison's not going to get the opportunities that he's been getting against Manchester City. Tough fixture that for him. I blame Ten Hag. I think it goes back even further than Ten Hag. I mean, I don't know how many managers we've gone through in the last 5 or 6 years, 7 years. but it's becoming a little bit of frustration that every time they won't give managers time. Do you know who I liked the best out of all of them was Solskjaer? And I wish they hadn't sacked Solskjaer. I just thought that was a poor decision. But they did. I think Solskjaer was the only one who tried to carry on playing football in the way United had played football. I think he was the only one who understood how United play football. Jose wasn't bad, to be fair. Rob. So now we got 3 minutes. I've got to make this decision now. Do I bring Sarr off the bench for Reinders? I'm not going to take Bowen out. I think he deserves another chance. Reinders was originally brought in for my bench, but on the back of his 10 points, I can't now take him out of the team. And I think my decision, giving Nottingham Forest as a pretty decent defence, I'm going to go and stick with Reinders in that team. Stick with Bowen. Saka will be captain. Job done. I think anybody would be poor with that Cardiff City squad, Rob. Let's be fair. I actually thought he was kind of one of the best managers that we had, Solskjaer. But what do I know? The fans they immediately turn on managers if they're not winning 10 in a row. The fans turn on the managers at United. So I don't know. Who knows, Rob, what is the right and wrong decision in this game? I could look at that and say, I'm happy with that, and then they'll all blank again. Or I could sit at that and look and say, I'm not really happy about that at all. And then they'll all play particularly well, and we'll have a great week. What it does is it makes football interesting. And when I'm watching tonight West Ham and Chelsea, which normally would mean nothing to me, it means a lot to me now. It means a huge amount to me. So we're going to go with that. And the job is done. And so, yeah, I will have a keen interest on what's going on Chelsea West Ham tonight. We got some really nice fixtures coming up. We've got City and Spurs at lunchtime tomorrow. It's lovely. I love Friday night, Saturdays at the moment because I don't do any videos or any streaming on Saturday. It's my day of rest. So I got Manchester City Spurs. I've then got Arsenal Leeds later on. And then Sunday during the day is packed full of... They're not really that great of a game, but you know, like I have players involved, and like I watched that Crystal Palace Forest game, and if Sarr could probably upset me a great deal. And then on Monday night it's still going on, Newcastle and Liverpool, big game on Monday night. So this game makes football much more interesting to watch. Where you would have had no interest before, you've suddenly got an interest. So the team's locked in now. I think the deadline has passed. I just hope that everybody has a good game week. I hope I have a good game week. It can't get any worse, that's for sure. I've got 7 players, 7 attacking players. I really hope they don't all blank again this week. They all blanked last week apart from Reinders. I'm just hoping they don't all blank again this week. You just don't know. Hopefully not. So, yeah, I try not to worry about it too much. But it is what it is, and I have to trust the system. I will be keeping an eye. It's a shame it's not one of the live games, but I want to keep an eye on Bournemouth and Wolves, because obviously Semenyo is high on people's lists, and He may, if Palmer doesn't play well, Semenyo may well find his way in my team, because Bournemouth's fixtures are really, really good. Really good. Bundesliga game from 7:30. I shall be watching West Ham and Chelsea at that time, so I could watch two games at the same time, but I shall be watching. Whoops! What did I do there? I think we're okay. I think I did something there, which I'm not supposed to do. So 76% of people said that they were happy with their game week 1 score. If I could have voted, I would have said I was not happy with my game week 1 score. 17 on the bench and a bench boost to make a total of 59. Nah, not happy at all. But that's FPL. We will see how we are doing on Sunday. We'll see how we're doing tonight, because I'm hoping that tonight I'm getting a few points. I have 2 players playing tonight, and hopefully a few points on the board. Arsenal are playing on Sunday, aren't they? Saturday. It's the Saturday 5:30. I'll either be revolver at my head by Saturday evening, or I'll be jumping up and down celebrating. We cannot possibly do as bad as we did last week. For me, it's just a bit too early. I know that all the stats guys out there are exploding full of stats. I need to see players play rather than rely on stats, which is why I've not uploaded videos of 5 players to keep, 5 players to buy, 5 players to... I can't do that based on stats. As we get more and more into the season, I'll probably be giving people a few more ideas based on what I've seen. But for now, it'd be like people ask me, should I play blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah. I can only say what I would do in that situation, and what I might do would probably be wrong, or at least have a probability of 50% of being wrong. This is a game of gut feelings and of patience, and you have to be patient. And I'm going to trust this bunch. We're going to perk up and trust this bunch of no-hopers and hope that by the end of the weekend we're going to be looking good. Monday game or just weekend? Yeah, there is a Monday game. Newcastle-Liverpool is on Monday. So the whole weekend's pretty packed from now until Monday night. Overdosing on football again. I don't know if this Friday is continuing. No, Friday finishes now, so next game week is just Saturday and Sunday. No Monday game either. And then it's the international break, isn't it? So it's just the first 2 game weeks that are overdosing people on football. So, and I'm quite happy to be overdosed on it. I guess we'll have a midweek game at some point as well. It's usually one early on, shortly after the international break. So there's going to be plenty to keep us busy. So I'm not planning to be back. I will do a reaction video on Tuesday after Monday is finished. I'm not planning for this to take over my channel, but I do want to to get involved in this as well. I love playing it, so why not? But I will be back Sunday night with the Ipswich save in FM continuing, and so you're more than welcome to come and join me in that one and see how Ipswich get on. Are we going to win the league? Who knows? Are Manchester United going to prove to be a better team this year than they were last year. Are Liverpool going to retain their title? Is anybody going to get me some attacking returns today? This weekend? I hope so. But I'm going to call it a day there, guys. Thank you to all of you who've come along and chatted with me. I really enjoy the interaction. I do appreciate it, and thank you very much. And keep supporting the channel. Keep helping us out. And hopefully I'll see you on Sunday when we can do some Football Manager. Although Football Manager 24 is driving me nuts at the moment. And I think I'm desperate for 26 now. It's thank you, Rob. Very, very much appreciate it. And enjoy the football over the weekend, guys. I'm going to go and put some dinner on. That should take 20 minutes, and then settle down and watch the West Ham and Chelsea game. Teams are all locked in now, and hopefully you've all made the correct decisions and it all works out for everybody. And we're going to be talking about some great performances in the Old Man Phil League in the week that's coming up. I hope so. Thanks for coming. I really do appreciate it. Stay safe, take care, and enjoy the football this weekend. FPL helps you enjoy games that you wouldn't normally enjoy. And I'll see you all for a video on Tuesday. Thanks for coming, guys. Take care. Be safe.